Bustos, you've got Casey, Becky, Stefana. We're live on YouTube, and this is not another boring podcast. Now, Mustafa is calling from Prince William County Adult Detention Center. Mustafa, say hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Of course, we can't do this without my favorite cup. I've got a whole county going after me, and they're alleging that I stole their cup. And this is the key word is allege. Okay. That's what they're alleging. Now we're gonna explain to this community what is going on with Prince William County going after Mustafa Al Jazari's brother, and why are they trying so hard to silence that brother? What are they terrified that this? What are they scared from that this brother is talking about? Or am I talking about that they're terrified? That's a good question. Mustafa?
This is supposed to be regarding an accident, not what you're doing, what Mustafa's history was with anybody.
They're not.
I thought it's an accident that this is supposed to be investigating.
They're not talking about Mustafa anymore. They're talking about the brother of Mustafa. That's interesting. Oh, wait a minute. The brother of Mustafa has evidence that they falsified his brother police report. That's interesting. So we gotta make sure that we silence that brother. Well, that brother has a suit, a tie and a suit, and got trained as a paralegal, knows how to write his own motions, and apparently he knows how to talk. So when he stands in court, he's gonna present evidence and show the judge what Prince William County is doing and the length that they're going to silence the brother of Mustafa and hide the falsified police report and hide what they've done to Mustafa. Mustafa? Hello, hello, hello.
The reason I'm sitting in jail is because you have people passing around misinformation about me that don't even know me. I don't know them, they don't know me. And they're just saying things about hearsay, it's false allegation. But I just want to bring up one particular point. A doctor, a psychologist, psychiatrist, over 30 years of credentials. Like she has a master's, she's a qualified expert witness who is very familiar with my case.
Mustafa, the private investigator, Charlotte, hello, hello, hello. Mustafa, the private investigator that went deep undercover to talk to the star witness is on the phone. Charlotte, I've got Mustafa, I've got Bustos, I've got Casey, Stefana, Becky, the family in the background. You're live on YouTube. Charlotte, say hello to Mustafa.
Hey, Mustafa. Hey, everybody. Hey, Mustafa, did you know these crazies think that we're related?
Oh, really?
Yeah. They said, Charlotte, they said Cha-Cha must be some sort of family of theirs.
Oh, that's what they're saying. Oh, my God.
Well, they should do their background on Charlotte. Charlotte is internet famous, fighting corruption in her county. Charlotte is on the news, and Charlotte has a talent to go deep undercover and has interest in recording about the star witness who apparently has Dorothy's 14-year-old child asking him to murder Mustafa. That's interesting. On a recorded line.
That's crazy.
Here's what I don't understand. They're so upset saying that we've said all these things about a minor, but the only person talking about the minor was Glenn Ford.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting that they're angry at the wrong person. They keep saying that I said it. They keep saying that Charlotte said it. Glenn Ford on a recorded line is saying what he said. He said that Kylie came up to him and asked him to murder Mustafa. And can we make it look like an accident? Now, why are you upset at me? Why are you upset at Charlotte? But you're not addressing the big elephant in the room that Glenn Ford is the one saying it?
Exactly.
Now, I have the recording, and I like to play that portion, which is 30-second long. So let's listen to Glenn Ford,
Let's play it.
the jealous ex-boyfriend of Dorothy, talk about Dorothy's 14-year-old child, Kylie, walking up to him and asking him to murder Mustafa. And can we make it look like an accident? Let's listen to that recording.
Especially the older daughter. And she wanted me to shoot, like, kill him.
The older daughter wanted you to kill him?
Yeah. Like, where? Like, could you please, like, if I make it look like, so, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, something, and it's like self-defense, would you do it? And I'm like, no.
That's interesting. Kylie asking Glenn Ford to kill Mustafa and make it look like an accident. What do we have today? We have a vehicle accident where the police on a body cam, on their own body cam, admit that this vehicle had mechanical failure, brake failure, transmission failure, and now we have this recording? That's interesting. Where's the police department from all this? Now, that's a good question. Charlotte, where is the police department from all this?
They're corrupt.
You know, it seems that they have a vested interest not to look at the evidence that we have. Now, I'll tell you something that's
They never,
interesting.
they never looked at any evidence for any other possibility other than trying to make Mustafa the target.
Well, you know, Charlotte, when you find out that the background to all this is that Mustafa was in an active lawsuit, a $500,000 lawsuit against the police, and a tragic accident happened, we have their police body cams where to show they're not interested in investigating this vehicle accident. They're targeting Mustafa. Now, what I find really
That's
interesting,
definitely what it appears.
Charlotte, what I find really interesting is Kylie, a 14-year-old child, on a recorded line, admit that she knows a specific individual who hates Mustafa, who Mustafa almost ran out of business, who Mustafa, because of
This
what
is
that...
the strip club owner, yeah?
Yes, ma'am. Billy with Crystal City Strip Club. Now, a month. I find it interesting. The details, the details are very important. Now, there's a video that went viral. Almost 7 million people saw it at the time, and that video shows a racist man being racist to a Mustafa that's promoting his business, that's working hard, and that man is just simply being racist. Now, that video went viral at the time. That's 2 years ago. That's 2 years ago. And the community started boycotting his establishment because they're not going to go into a place where someone is racist. That video went viral. 7 million people saw that video, and the community started boycotting that establishment. Now, after that video, a lot of people don't know that a month after that video, Mustafa met Dorothy. Now, interesting details are coming out where apparently the star witness, Kylie, Dorothy's 14-year-old child, knows Billy, hangs out with the strippers, his employees, and on a recorded line went up to the jealous ex-boyfriend of Dorothy and asked Mustafa to kill Mustafa. Now, we know Billy wanted to kill Mustafa, 100%. If you watch that video, Mustafa almost ran him out of business. He went viral because of what he did to Mustafa. Now, it's interesting that the star witness that hates Mustafa, that wants to say Mustafa is a monster, apparently her dad works for Billy, and she hangs out with all of Billy's employees. And she says, all the strippers hate Mustafa. No, they don't. I've got video evidence where all the strippers love Mustafa. The only reason they start hating Mustafa and pretend to hate Mustafa is because their boss went viral and he almost ran out of business. And to satisfy their owner, their boss, is they start antagonizing Mustafa. And who apparently hangs out with these strippers? Dorothy's 14-year-old child. That's interesting. Charlotte, you don't have to take my word for it.
Yes.
Let me play that audio for you. What Kylie says about Billy and his employees. Let me play that audio for you. And then we're gonna watch the video of Billy. Let's see. There we go. This is Kylie talking about Billy.
My dad, he's a piercer. He pierces like a lot of strippers, and he had brought up to them what happened, and they were and who they were, and they were like, yeah, we know this guy. Like, he used to record our license plates and put it on the internet and like follow us home and stuff. So I also was thinking, I don't want them to follow me home, and I don't want to put myself in a position where, you know, I'm unsafe.
That's interesting. Her dad works for Billy. She knows his employees. She hangs out with his employees, and she's repeating the sentiments that his employees are saying about Mustafa. Kylie, you've been hanging out with individuals that hate Mustafa. That explains why you hate Mustafa. So when he met your mom, you're hanging out with those individuals that hate Mustafa, that wants to kill Mustafa, that are upset because their business almost ran out of business. Well, that explains a lot about how you feel about Mustafa. Wait a minute. You're separated by CPS from your mom, and your mom, according to you, told you that she's choosing Mustafa over you. Now, why is your mom choosing Mustafa over you? Wait a minute. According to Glenn Ford, according to you, on a recorded line and forensic interviews and body cams that the community is going to get to see, that this girl does a lot of drugs. This girl is living a lifestyle. This 14-year-old girl is living a lifestyle that her mom does not agree with, and is so tired from her that she says, "Go live with your dad. I don't want anything to do with you. Yes, I choose my boyfriend. I choose him over you." And this girl is angry. Now, I find it interesting. Well, before we go deep dive into more details, let's watch the video of Billy really quick, and we get to know who Billy is.
You're gonna fucking get off my property. How many times I have to tell him, officer? Get the fucking keep it up, and goddamn it, I'm telling you, you're gonna fucking go. You're gonna fucking get off my property. How many times I have to tell him, officer? Get the fuck off my property. Get the fuck off it.
I got this whole thing on.
You're good. Get the fuck off my property. You get the fuck off it.
You're gonna go to jail, bro.
Yeah, you watch who goes to fucking jail. How many times have you heard how many times I've told him? And you'll fucking see where we're standing. Get the fuck off my property, motherfucker. Fuck you. Get off.
This is interesting. A month later, after this incident, Mustafa?
I wasn't even on his property. I was.
Isn't that like a public parking lot?
We'll let Mustafa weigh in. Exactly. Yep. Charlotte, you and Mustafa talk about the details. Tell us what we're watching here.
Yeah, I just want to say I was not on his property. He was just mad because I was making money on the side where the Asian restaurant next door, they allowed me to be on their property, and it's three stores: the 7-Eleven, the strip club, and the Asian restaurant. And the owner of the Asian restaurant said, "You are more than welcome to be on my property." So I parked my van. I opened up the trunk of my car. I have music, lights, and all my products, like a mobile store. And I would promote my hand warmers, and people love my products. And I would sell my products. Even the strippers were taking my products, my hand warmers inside. They were selling them, coming outside, and I would give them a percentage of the proceeds.
I have all the videos. I was there. I recorded the whole thing.
Like, I don't know who is like hating me so bad that
Well,
I'm
you know,
actually, like, making an honest
what I
living.
find interesting, it's a public easement, so it's not his property. It's a public easement shared by 3 different businesses: the strip club, the Chinese restaurant, and the 7-Eleven. So for him to come out
He
and
sounds
do
like a lunatic.
it 100%. I mean, he went viral for doing what he did.
He said,
I mean,
he
he
was
sounds
gonna
like
go to
someone
jail.
beats people.
I'm sitting in jail.
Now, I find it interesting when Prince William County showed up that day. They took his side, and we were so confused. We're like, what is this? You know, this is a public easement. Mustafa had every right to be there. And to watching everything that we're watching, at the time Mustafa was going against the police in a giant lawsuit, we de-escalated, and we decided to go across the street. There's another parking lot. I mean, that was our parking lot. Mustafa went there for a long time. People knew him. People bought his heat warmers, and people were going there to buy Mustafa's stuff. So it was really disturbing and sad that we decided to leave. I mean, to de-escalate, we went across the street. Now Billy would not let it go, and the same strippers that were helping Mustafa sell his heat warmer and promote his heat warmer for him, which I have videos of, started going across the street to antagonize Mustafa. Now, I find that interesting that Kylie is hanging out with those strippers, that her dad works for this guy. Now, after this incident, a month into it, Mustafa gets in a relationship with Dorothy, and he had no idea that that 14-year-old child is hanging out with the person that hates Mustafa. The strippers that hates Mustafa. That's interesting. So all this is going on in the background, and that shed light on a lot. A lot.
That is very interesting. Sorry, I had it on mute because my son is screaming downstairs playing video games.
Charlotte, we are happy that you're here and you're watching what's going on in this county. And it sure sounds like a lot of what goes on in your county. Mustafa, go ahead.
Oh,
I want to tell you, the night before the accident, my door handle, which is chrome, the whole thing was ripped off my car. The whole door handle was ripped off my car. And I tell Dorothy, I'm like, hey, Dorothy, someone ripped off my door handle. She said, just come home. I had Empress in the car. We were looking for the macaroons. I call them mochis. It's those cookies, macaroons or macarons. They only sell them like in the Whole Foods or in the 3 packets at 7-Eleven or Wawa. So that's her favorite snack. So I'm driving around trying to go to 7-Eleven, Wawa, but I noticed my door handle was ripped off.
I find it disturbing. I find it disturbing that you've been saying that for the past 2 years, and the police department just looks the other way. And why is it that we have to do the job for the police department? Why is it that I've got their star witness admitting on a recorded line that they were trying to kill you and make it look like an accident? Well, here we have a vehicle accident and the police department on their body cam that's sealed off by the government. That's not supposed to, that they don't want it to release to the community. That Mustafa's brakes, there's mechanical failure in Mustafa's vehicle. The brake doesn't work. The transmission is tampered with. That's interesting. In light of everything that's coming out now, with the star witness wanted to kill you. That's interesting. You've been saying that for 2 years, that someone tampered with your car. That someone ripped off the chrome off your door handle.
They're plotting to kill me. Glenn Ford and Kylie Clapp, they're plotting to kill me. I don't know them, but they apparently know me. And now, when I'm trying to hit my brake, it's vibrating at a really high speed where it's so, like, it's not working. The lane ended. There's a median in front of me. I can't go to the right, and all of a sudden I see cars coming towards me, and it happens so quick. But now, aside from everything, I'm in a dangerous situation, and I'm trying to get out of the way. I would protect Dorothy and Empress with my life. If it came down to it, with my life, without even thinking twice, without even breathing, thinking, I would protect them with my life. That's the natural instinct. But for some reason, this happened so quick. My vehicle was malfunctioning, and the camera inside the car, that's my camera. I installed this camera inside my car. I'm very aware of my camera.
Mustafa, in the background, I'm going to play the dash camera that's sealed off by the government. This prosecutor is terrified that this dash camera is now in the public domain and the community is watching.
And look at the whole camera. I stopped by at the gas station. I was cleaning my car. I bought cigarettes. I pumped gas in the car. And they're trying to take things out of proportion and saying that Dorothy was crying, we were in a heated argument, and then I drove onto oncoming traffic. That's not true. When I was inside the store, I never even noticed that Dorothy was crying. And would you not take in perspective that her mom...
Wasn't she just going to the grave site to see her mom?
Exactly. So she's crying. Isn't it relevant to be crying over your mother? Or the pain that she has in her stomach? She has cancer.
Well, Mustafa, I have Kylie on a recorded line say that her mom had cancer.
By the way, and I want to tell you something. You can go pull up the medical report. She went through chemotherapy. She has cancer.
No.
She has major pain in her stomach and pain in her tooth that I took her to the urgent care a week, like about a few days or a week before the accident.
Now, a lot of
All in
people,
the record.
Mustafa, a lot of people are trolling the conversation. When they watch the dash camera, they see that you and Dorothy were smoking a cigarette and passing it back and forth. Now, I find it interesting that they're trolling the conversation, and they refuse to look at the blood work for Dorothy and you. Your blood work was
Well, they
tested by
thought
the
that he
police
was-
department. You have no alcohol, no drugs. Dorothy, no alcohol, no drugs. What Dorothy was
I thought that
smoking,
he was lying
What-
about the cancer, but then even Kylie said, no, my mom said she had cancer.
exactly. What Dorothy was smoking is hemp. Is hemp.
She was
Hemp has no
smoking
drugs.
hemp.
It's
You
in
know
the
what
medical.
it is?
It's in the blood work.
You go to the tobacco store and you buy this stuff from the tobacco clerk. He just show you the tobacco store that we went to. We have receipts. Everything reflects that we purchased this tobacco. We smoke cigars, Black and Mild. We smoke like relaxing type of tobacco, flavored tobacco. What are people saying? And by the way, look at the main issue.
You know, before you talking to the main issue, for 2 years, we've been saying it's hemp, and for 2 years we've been now I have the medical record where your blood work and Dorothy's blood work is tested, no alcohol, no drugs. So what are we talking about here? We have a prosecutor that's trolling the conversation, hiding the evidence. She's terrified.
Let's bring it to the prosecutor's attention and make it into a reasonable person, anybody in the world. Take it in perspective. If someone is arguing with someone, would they share a cigar with that other person?
I
Or would
wouldn't.
they throw it at them?
I
Or
would.
would they be violently aggressive? We're sharing a cigar together. We
I-
are driving to our destination,
Yep.
and this accident happened.
Why do you think the prosecutor is terrified to release his dash camera, Mustafa? She's terrified because the community is not stupid. When they watch his dash camera, they know that she's lying about you arguing with Dorothy.
They aren't even talking. Don't people that argue open their mouth?
And also, Charlotte, I just want to tell you, if you're familiar with the JBL speaker,
Exactly.
With
You know,
the
Charlotte. You know what kind of argument is this? I'm not seeing an argument. When I watch this dash camera,
I don't see
I don't see
anything.
one.
when
exactly.
you have the light in the background is moving.
I mean, the
and
music is playing.
Is playing.
Yeah, I actually have one of those speakers, and that's true.
You know, that's the party box. So when the light is moving around in a circle, if it's moving really fast, then that means the music is really loud. The music was blasting. How can I argue with someone when the music is blasting?
Well, it's interesting that you say that. It's interesting that you say that because I have a body cam from the police that the government is concealing, but I have it and I'm gonna release it. That the music from that boombox is playing so loud that you can barely hear each other. So how could you be arguing if the music is really loud? How could you hear yourself argue?
We're not even arguing about anything. And look, Dorothy told the day before she took her day off to go to her mom's birthday, like the graveyard. She took the day off, and prior to that, she bought flowers from Amazon, like the fake flowers that light up with like fluorescent light. One of those like they charge off like the sunlight. Okay, so she has the flowers. This is the day of her mom's birthday. She was looking forward to it. She could have left on her own in her van, but she wanted me to take her. And I was like, I'm tired. I don't want to go. But then back and forth. She's like, okay, I want you to take me. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and cook first. Let's make sure everybody eats, and then we can leave. So everything is peaceful. The kids are going to clean the house. I agreed with the young child. Imagine, I told him, if you clean the house and we come back, everything's good, I promise that I'm going to fix your phone screen. He wants his phone screen fixed, and I promise you, I'm going to fix it.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I have all the Google Nest and it shows exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. And Farrell, he gave me like $12 to $12 that I gave him.
Yep, I have the forensic interview where Pharaoh says that. Yep.
And let me just tell you about that $12. He wanted to buy the next Zelda game for his Nintendo Switch. And I'm like, it's $70. That's a lot of money. And I'm not just going to give him $70. I wanted to earn it and learn how to save up. I said, how about take your old games? We'll take them to GameStop. We'll trade them in. And whatever's left over, I promise I'll pay the remaining balance, and I'll get you the new Zelda game. So he's looking forward to that. I said, you guys take care of the house. And when we get back, we're going to do everything that you guys want. We just got to go to the graveyard and come back. But Dorothy told me just to take Empress. I said, let's take all the kids. But she said, we're not going to do that. We just want to go to the graveyard and come back. That's about it.
I have the forensic interview where Pharaoh says that. I have the video forensic interview where Pharaoh says exactly that. And I have the Google Nest where Dorothy is asking you to take her to the cemetery. Dorothy is asking Empress to go with her to the cemetery. Dorothy is the one that says the boys should stay home. That's interesting because the prosecutor is charging you with premeditated, and specifically she says that Mustafa planned this out. Mustafa is the one that wanted to take Dorothy to the cemetery. Mustafa is the one that hates Empress so much that he told Empress to get in the car, told the boys to stay home so he can go and crash the vehicle. Well, Miss Sarah Sammy, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, I have the evidence that showed that you are lying about Mustafa.
I love Empress. I look at Empress as like this, like a lonely child without her father. And I wanted to make sure that she's comfortable. I built her her own crib so that she has her own space. I made sure that we get her toys, the princess toys from Walmart that she wanted. I made sure that whenever she comes into the room and the boys are playing a video game, I tell everybody to stop what they're doing and move to the side and let her play and watch her videos because she's the only female there. Someone has to stand up for her. And I'm standing up for her rights as the only female in the house. There's a bunch of boys. When I make food, I make a lot.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Mustafa, you have 1 minute. When you call back, I'm going to play a video from the Google Nest and just have it in the background. Unfortunately for this prosecutor, go ahead.
Omar, I just want to say one thing.
Yes,
when
sir.
I make food, I make a large omelet. I cut it into pizza slices for all the boys. But for Empress, I make sure that I make it edible and appealing. She likes it in a specific way. I cut it up into small little squares. I put ketchup on it, a pickle, stuff that that she's gonna eat. Not everyone eats just anything. So I make sure that it fits the preference. So I cooked 2 hours before we left. 2 hours of cooking before we left the house.
I have Jaden says exactly that. I have the Google Nest that show exactly that.
This whole time,
It was nice to talk to you.
They've been lying on my name this whole time.
Well, they're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to. We have.
Thank you for using Global Telly.
When Mustafa comes back, we're going to have him talk more about the Google Nest, the dash camera, the evidence that we have, and tell us exactly what is going on here. Charlotte, I love that you're here.
Take a nap. I love you guys.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for weighing in. By the way, say goodbye to Bustos, Casey, Stefana, and everybody that's watching you
Bye,
on our
guys.
podcast.
Bye, guys.
Charlotte, I love you. I'll talk to you
I'll
later.
come back later.
Yes, ma'am.
It's nap time.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Bye, Charlotte.
All right, bye.
Now, why is there
Bye.
a 14-year-old? Why is there a 14-year-old hanging around strippers?
Why is a 14-year-old hanging around strippers? Now, we know from Glenn Ford on a recorded line that Kylie does drugs, and he's not talking about weed. He says she does harder drugs where she doesn't even know where she's at. That he would wake up and he finds her in his bed. That's not me saying it. You can't get angry at me for you saying that on a recorded line to a private investigator. Now, I find that disturbing that you're angry at me. Now, in light of everything that's happening, with TikTok being banned, I'm going to miss all my trolls. I've built a relationship with my trolls. Mustafa is calling in. What I'm trying to say is,
Hello.
I
This is a
invite
prepaid
them.
call from
I invite them to be on my YouTube channel.
an
Apparently,
inmate at the Prince
I'm the
William
only one that has a
Hospital.
platform.
To accept this call, press
Now that TikTok is
0.
gone,
To refuse this call, hang up.
Now that-
Your current balance is
And Mustafa is calling from
$32.
Prince William County Adult Detention Center. He's been
This call
held
is
in
from
a county
corrections
jail.
facility and is subject to monitoring and recording.
Mustafa
Thank you for
is,
using Global Tel Link.
and if this lady doesn't shut up, Mustafa is calling in from Prince William County Adult Detention Center. He's been held at a county jail without a preliminary hearing. His evidence are concealed by the government. Unfortunately for the government, we have a police officer that supplied me all the body cams, all the discovery on a flash drive, and I'm releasing it on the internet for the community to see what this prosecutor and how she's been lying about Mustafa. 2 years in a county jail without a trial, without a preliminary hearing. What happened to a speedy trial? In Virginia, you're entitled to a speedy trial within 6 months. Now, what we have with Mustafa, they concealed his evidence, no preliminary hearing, no trial. And what I find disturbing is his evidence is concealed. For a prosecutor that screams Mustafa is guilty in court, why is she terrified that Mustafa's evidence is going to be on the record? Isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Mustafa, what the fuck is happening here?
That's a really good question. What is going on here? Sitting in solitary confinement, I am not even allowed to take a peek at my discovery. I can't even see what they're charging me with. They're charging me with murder. This is a serious crime. It's a serious type of allegation. I would never hurt a fly. How can I murder someone? And plus, this is my family. This is not just some strangers I just met off the street.
Mustafa, in the background, I'm playing the Google Nest. So everybody, the prosecutor cannot lie anymore. I have the Google Nest inside the apartment. So it's not just me saying, oh, my brother loves his family. No, I have the videos.
Thank
And
God.
all I have to say is, Dorothy's not here, Empress is not here to speak, but I can stand for them and say that Dorothy is an incredible, incredible person. She's an incredible mother. She loves her child. She loves her children, all of them. I remember like days and nights when the kids would be playing video games on the weekend. She would walk into the room and make sure everybody's tucked in and she covers them up. That's what mothers do. She cares about her children. And on the day of the accident, I ensure safety is first. I'm the driver of the vehicle. I tell Dorothy, make sure that Empress is buckled in.
I have the dash
tell her,
camera.
make sure-
Mustafa, I have the dash camera where we're telling Dorothy to make sure that she's buckled. And Dorothy gets out of the car and make sure that Dorothy's buckled.
I
I
see it,
care about
Mustafa.
everyone around me before I think about myself. I was not wearing a seatbelt, but everyone around me, I made sure. Dorothy was not wearing a seatbelt. I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. That's what kind of people we are. That's why we connected, because we're selfless. We care about others.
Now, let me ask you a question, Mustafa. Let me ask you a question. This prosecutor's narrative is not making sense. She says that you went into oncoming traffic, that you hate your family, and you went into oncoming traffic, and you wanted to kill everybody. Now, that's interesting. Is she saying that you wanted to kill your... That makes... Who goes into oncoming traffic to kill himself? Who puts a dash camera in his car? You're not even wearing a seatbelt.
I'm not suicidal, number one. I would never harm myself or others around me. That's like a really important factor here. I would never do anything intentional. This was an accident and nothing connected to domestic violence or anything of that. I never put my hands on Dorothy or anyone. Like, we're having a really good relationship where she actually put ads up online. The night before the accident, a customer called about an ad that Dorothy put up, a handyman service, and he paid me $125 on Apple Pay. This $125, $100 for the labor, $25 for the travel fee, and once I got that money from that customer, I Apple paid it to Dorothy. She was so happy, she was ecstatic. She was like, wow, this is actually working.
Mustafa, in the background, I'm playing the Google Nest, so everybody is watching what's going on.
And if we are like such in a heated argument or whatever, why are we sharing money? Why are we sharing a cigar? Why are we doing things together? It makes no sense. It makes no sense for me to be accused like this. They're just tarnishing my name.
Now, let me introduce Mustafa. Mustafa has a small business, physical therapy equipment business. His business sells heat warmers and small physical therapy equipment. They are FDA approved. Now, Mustafa had multiple locations in different malls at one point. Mustafa had multiple contracts at different military bases that I ran for him before I went to Iraq. When I got back from Iraq, Mustafa was contracted with me on base at Quantico while he was running his business. Now, you want to tell me that that man that we saw on the video with Billy, who can control his anger, who's de-escalating when a fat, big, racist white guy is breathing down his neck, can control his anger and de-escalate? That's not what the prosecutor is painting for us. That's not what Sarah Sammy is telling. She's telling us that Mustafa is a monster. Well, evidence is coming out where the prosecutor is terrified that we're going to get to know Mustafa. Well, unfortunately for her, I have all the jail visits that are video recorded for the past 2 years when we're visiting Mustafa. They're concealing everything that is related to Mustafa. They don't want the community to find out who Mustafa is. They don't want you to see and understand who Mustafa is. They want to paint a picture and they want to run with it. Well, unfortunately for the prosecutor in this county, that I have all the jail video visits. That every time we visit Mustafa for the past 2 years, is video recorded. And I'm gonna release it on the internet, and you're gonna get to know who Mustafa is. When Mustafa is talking about his case, getting frustrated, what are they doing to him? That they framing him. He's crying about Dorothy. He's crying about Empress. He's talking to my mother. He's talking to my 40-year-old niece. You're gonna see who Mustafa is, and you're gonna understand why are they so terrified for this community to know Mustafa. I mean, Mustafa has been in solitary confinement for the past 2 years. When we say that they beat him inside the jail, they say nothing happened. Well, now I have the video. Mustafa, I'm going to play the video in the background while you tell us what they've done to you in our county jail, in our local county jail.
I can tell you what they did that day. On May 24th, 2023, 6 correctional officers, giant correctional officers, ran in my cell, told me to sit on the bunk, ran in my cell, and beat the living hell out of me, to the point where they broke my arm, broke my limbs, stepped on me and stomped on me, punched me, closed fist, punched me in the back of my head till I blacked out. They,
I hate this video. I don't like watching it.
It's a very hard video to watch.
I have PTSD till this day. Every time my door opens,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know what to expect. And
It's very difficult to watch.
I relive these experiences on a daily basis.
Mustafa, in details, tell us what they did to you.
They ran up to my cell, punched me in the back of my head. Well, let me just go back. Told me to sit on the bunk.
And this is May 24, May 24, 2020, on the 25th, Mustafa, what day did this happen?
May 24th, 2023. Those correctional officers ran into my cell like giant bulls, just furious. Ran in my cell. I crawled under my bed. They pulled out the taser guns. They said, if you don't come out, we're gonna tase you. They were punching fists when they ran up in my cell, punching indiscriminately everywhere. I ran up in my bed, under my bed, and they pulled out the taser guns. And they said, if you don't come out, we're gonna tase you. At that moment, I'm trying to come out. They just dragged me out, face down. Anthony Noah Tipton, that's the officer who broke my right arm. He's yelling, stop resisting! I'm not resisting. My face is on the floor, my hands behind my back, and he pulled my arm and broke it.
Now, Mustafa, I have a video where you're getting dragged out of that cell. 6 correctional officers rushed into your cell and dragged a unconscious Mustafa, a handcuffed Mustafa behind his back, while a giant correctional officer is hitting you on the head and is kicking you. And they drag you down the stairs, unconscious, into another cell. I have that video playing in the background.
That's Master Sergeant Vincent Thompson. That person is humongous. I mean, there's huge and there's humongous. That person is extremely large. Big dude. Picked me up midway in the air from my shirt and slammed me face down while I'm in handcuffs behind my back. Face down, like my whole ribs just like, felt like everything was shattered in my body. I was crawling on the floor, just begging for mercy. They pulled all my clothes off. They pulled my pants off. Said, give me that shit. They pulled my pants off, exposing me from the bottom down, and then ripped off my shirt from my body. While they're ripping it off, my whole body is getting lifted in the air and then face down on the floor. My whole chin gashed open. When they picked me up, so one of the officers in the back grabbed the back of my head and smashed it into the concrete wall. And my handcuffs are behind my back. And I'm sitting there just getting tossed around, blacking out left and right. I wake up in a bloodbath. I'm fully nude, fully naked, and there's white boxers sitting on the bunk. They tell me, go put that on. So I can't move. I'm literally like just broken. So I'm crawling to the boxers, freezing, in pain, numb, and just terrified, beyond scared. And I put the boxers on, and then they throw my thermals at me, and they say, wipe your blood. It's a big puddle of blood in the center of the cell. And I know forensics, like, you know, I've heard of DNA, like when people do forensic type of stuff, blood doesn't go away. If they investigate today, and they go to that cell and see that big puddle, put that black light, whatever, right? They're gonna see a big puddle of blood.
Well,
I'm talking about a lot
Mustafa,
of blood everywhere.
I'll tell you that we don't have to go to all that length. There are CCTV videos of the whole entire incident and body cams. Now, we're showing the community a glimpse of what is happening, what happened that day. Now, things are going to come out to show what they've done to you that day. Now, on the outside, what is happening? That's what's happening on the inside to you. On the outside, what is happening on the outside? You have a family. Your family has evidence that investigator Drum falsified your police report and were publicly screaming and protesting the falsified police report. Now, I'm going to play what we were doing on the outside. That apparently they were so terrified that they went into your cell, beat you, hoping that you're going to be so scared where you tell us, stop protesting, don't talk about my falsified police report, don't do anything, just let it go. That's what they were hoping. And apparently this is a common practice in Prince William County. You have 7 unalived inmates, families that don't talk. People are terrified. I mean, everybody saw what happened to me when I was peacefully protesting in front of the jail. I was arrested. They almost broke my arm. They assaulted my sister. And what did they charge me with? A misdemeanor for disorderly. When I'm on video not being disorderly. Now I've got a giant lawsuit against Sheriff Glen Hill. I've got and I promise by the time I'm done with the sheriff, he's not going to have a badge or a uniform. I've got the evidence on video that I'm peacefully protesting on public property. I've got his deposition where he admits that I was peacefully protesting and I'm on public property. What the fuck are we talking about? By the time I'm done with this sheriff, I promise this community, I'm going to have my finger up his asshole so far deep it's going to come out of his mouth. He's not going to have a badge or a uniform. This community demands accountability. Mustafa, I love your laugh. I miss you, man. And I miss your jokes. If you think I'm funny, wait until you hear my brother's jokes. I miss you, man, so much. Okay, but I promise you, you're coming home, and these people are going to jail, and we're gonna make sure that we get justice for you, your girlfriend Dorothy, and 5-year-old Empress. And I find it interesting. You have individuals that are stepping all over Dorothy's grave, 5-year-old Empress's grave, pretending to be Christina Alcazar when we have the body cam that she's Amy Hodgkins, who lied about you and falsified pretending to be a witness. Now she's all over the internet, and now she's terrified that her cell phone is going to get subpoenaed. Apparently, I'll tell you something that's interesting. I have all her family phone numbers, addresses, and they're being supplied to the FBI along with her body cam. Dale, that picked up the phone, I have all his information. I have the address, and her cell phone is going to get subpoenaed, where we're going to find out what communication did she have with the jail lawyer, the private investigator, before the vehicle accident. We're going to find out Kylie's communication with her, the jail lawyer before the vehicle accident. What communication did she have with Billy, the other employees, the strippers, Glenn Ford, his cell phone, his emails. Now, I find it interesting. If you have nothing to hide, why are you terrified that your cell phones are going to get subpoenaed? They're going to get subpoenaed, and it takes time. But an investigation this big, it takes time. When you have the DOJ and the FBI looking into everything that Prince William County failed to look at, it's going to take time. But we are patient people. It's been 2 years. My brother is patient. God is protecting him. I mean, look at everything that's happening here. You have body cams. You have Discovery that's sealed off by the government, but they're on the internet. I mean, this is me 2 years ago. Mustafa, I want to play a video where 2 years ago I'm screaming about what I'm screaming about right now. Let me play this video for you. Got a giant megaphone. I'm in front of the jail. Apparently, I'm the reason that you got beaten up because I had evidence that investigators run falsified your police report. I have a giant megaphone, and all of a sudden they get so terrified, they say, let's go and beat the fuck out of his brother. Maybe we're going to get him so terrified he's going to shut his brother on the outside. Let's watch that fucking video.
The families are demanding the videos. The superintendent, we FOIA requested the videos. He said the superintendent sent us a letter saying we have the videos, but we're not releasing them. Sheriff Glenn Hill, you're elected into that position. Every day we're asking, you have an obligation. We the people elected you. And we're going to be here every day. We're demanding the videos. It's not your job to cover this up. It's not your job to have a couple of reporters in your pocket to report on a crime and cover it up.
This is 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Now I have all their body cams. Now I have all their Discovery. I got trained into being a paralegal, and I'm taking the bar exam. I'm going to be taking the LSAT. Not the bar exam. I'm going to take the LSAT to become a lawyer. I mean, apparently I know how to write my own motions. I got trained as a paralegal, Mustafa. I went to court on multiple cases. I was sitting on the bench as a paralegal. I helped out in cases. Now, I've got training as a paralegal. And apparently I know how to write my own motions. And I'm fighting the county coming after me. This county is coming after me. Prince William County is coming after me. And are lying about me in courts. Now, this is a desperate attempt to silence Mustafa's brother, to release the information and talk about what they've done to Mustafa. They lied about Mustafa and now they're terrified. And I promise you, they're not going to win. Because I have exhibits, I have evidence that's going to show Judge Funk that Elaine Jarvis is purchased by this county and is lying to the judge about me in court. And I cannot wait. And I promise you, by the time I'm done with her, she's not going to have a bar license to practice law where she can do this to another person. I cannot wait for February 26th. And I'm a very good speaker. And apparently I'm trained as a paralegal where I know how to write motions and introduce exhibits. And Judge Funk likes me. Judge Funk is giving me a whole entire day to talk about my exhibits. Now, that's beautiful. The whole county is watching. Not only Prince William County, Warren County is watching what they're doing behind closed doors and how they purchase a lawyer that turns from a person that's speaking on your behalf, that's advocating for you, what happened to an Elaine Jarvis that is all about the First Amendment, that's not okay with corruption, that's not okay with police misconduct. We all saw how Elaine was very vocal about corruption, vocal about your case. I mean, for a couple of dollars, Elaine Jarvis is a different person. What is it? $1? Is it $2? How much did they purchase you for that now you're going against Mustafa? Well, that's interesting. Elaine Jarvis was talking about not being able to pay the electricity bill. Today, after she dropped Mustafa Al-Jazari's case, she has 2 locations. She just opened another location. That's interesting. How much did they pay you, Elaine? Well, in court, we're going to talk about it. And I promise you, by the time I'm done with you, you're not going to have a bar license where you can go after another person. I mean, I'm not your average, but can you imagine if I was just another person that doesn't know how to write motions, that didn't know how to talk, that didn't have the means to be able to fight back this corruption? Well, you fucked around and found out yourself the wrong person to fuck around with. And on my hands, on my watch, you're not going to have a bar license. And I promise you, you're not going to be able to do this to another person. I mean, all you had to do is look me up. You had to just type Ammar al-Jazari, that video that popped up with a giant megaphone, and you're going to go against that person? Oh my God. You are one retarded lying. Have you ever seen a lion, but that has Down syndrome? That's Elaine Jarvis. A lion that has Down syndrome. Now, I'll tell you, I'm fighting back because not only that I'm going to be in court on February 26th, I'm filing with the bar for unethical behavior because I have audios and videos of her engaging as a lawyer and unethical behavior as a lawyer. Now, I'm going to be countersuing for defamation. I'm trying to get a job as a paralegal in the governor's office. And what does she goes around and say? She's saying that I stole material from her. How is that going to look? How am I going to get a job as a paralegal in the governor's office when she's throwing that around in the middle of the community? Now, I have a video of me telling her that a police officer supplied me with the evidence. She's aware that I had the videos from another source, the videos in the discovery. She was aware that I had it from another source, and now she likes to lie to Judge Funk and tell him that I took it from her. That's interesting. Well, let's play that video and see what the fuck I'm talking about. Elaine Jarvis writes a motion against me in court telling Judge Funk that between the hour of 3 o'clock in the afternoon and the hour of 7 o'clock in the evening, that I went into her office, unbeknownst to her, and I stole the material. Now, that's interesting. In another line, she says that she had it secured in a safe. Well, that's interesting. Well, and she says that I stole it for her on that day, and then she decided to fire me. That's interesting. Well, let's watch a video of me telling her that Elaine, a police officer gave me my brother's material, the videos, the discovery, and I have it all on a flash drive. And she says, I understand. A police officer gave it to you. Is she telling Judge Funk that? Well, we're going to play that in court. Let's play that video. Is Elaine Jarvis lying to Judge Funk? Is this a failed attempt to have Prince William County to have Elaine do their bidding? Yes, it is. Let's play that video. Mustafa, I love you. And I love how we're not even talking about your case anymore. I mean, are we talking about your case? Wait, are we even talking about a vehicle accident anymore? Bustos, how are you, ma'am? Bustos, yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that she's trying to have you have to come out to say who you got it from?
I haven't.
Because
Yeah.
she's going to get that person in trouble.
I'm not under any obligation to release my sources.
Well, I
Yeah.
know, but just in case, what I'm saying, hopefully that you don't have to blow the whistle on whoever's giving you your information, is what I'm saying.
You know, I'll tell you, they're attempting, they're throwing a whole bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Right.
I think they're not realizing who they're going up against, and that the person that they're going up against, you know, I'll tell you, the bottom line is, I can care less. I mean,
Well,
You know, look, what I'm trying to say is this. You really have to understand who you're going against. A long time ago, you know, to sit here and violate this family so much, and to think that I'm gonna, like, what are you really hoping that you're gonna get out of this? Um, what are you really hoping that you're gonna get out of this? I mean, what are you hoping? You know, with the evidence that I have in court is, I've got recording that she's talking about, man. We're not playing. You know what? These people, let me tell you what they thought. They thought they're lawyers, and that they're lawyers and they know how to write motions, and I need to hire another lawyer to defend myself against, defend against myself against. Yeah, hello?
Hello? Hey, Amar, what's up?
Oh, Gary?
Yeah, what's up, my brother?
What's up, brother? Let me connect you with Mustafa. I got everybody on the line. And we've got Gary, Mustafa. Gary is here. Bustos, Casey, Stefana. You're live on Not Another Boring Podcast. This is definitely not a boring podcast. Gary, if it was boring, now it's definitely not boring.
Right? Hey, TikTok's back up, Amar.
Man, I'll be honest with you. Fuck TikTok. I've got a giant platform on YouTube, and this is so beautiful. I've got my suit. I've got my giant mic. I've got my cup that says the keyword is alleged, and we are here.
Hey, Gary.
Yes, I've seen that.
Casey says hello.
That's awesome.
Mustafa says hello. Everybody says hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Mustafa? How you been, buddy?
Hey, Gary, just hanging in there, man. Just another day. How are you?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
You're coming up out of there soon. I wish you would have already been up out of there, though, Mustafa. I swear to God, I do.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's just like, I really do believe in, I believe in a higher power that created this whole world that we live in, and nothing happens without God's knowledge and without God's permission. So if I'm in here, I'm not really complaining. I'm just grateful that I'm breathing. I pray every day, and when God says it's time for me to get out, God says be, and it is.
That's right.
Whenever God wants me to get out, I'm getting out. But with your
Amen.
effort, with everyone's effort fighting for my cause and justice for Dorothy and Empress, and for all the corruption that's happening, you got public servants that are just abusing their position. Not all of them are bad. It's just that you have a few bad apples in the basket that are just messing up the image for everyone else.
Well, I think there's more than a few bad apples, because 95% of the Thin Blue Line gang is no good.
Well, I'll tell you this. There are bad apples, but I'll tell you there's a lot of police officers that put their life on the line and serve this community that are not okay with what's happening here. And the biggest evidence to that is I have a police officer that supplied me with Mustafa, body cams, and Discovery, put on a flash drive, and I have it. Let me play that video for everybody. Let me just find it. Where I'm telling Elaine that a police officer gave me the material. I have that on video. So what is she talking about that I took material from her? Now,
Right.
let's find that video. Well, you guys talk while I find that video.
Right. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Mustafa.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
We have Mustafa from
William Manassas Jail.
Prince William County Adult Detention Center.
0 to refuse this call. Hang up or press your current balance.
We have Casey, we have Bustos, we have Stefana.
6 cents.
Hello,
This call is
hello.
from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording.
This lady
Thank
talks
you
so
for
much.
using Global Tellink.
Mustafa, hello, hello, hello. Everybody is here. Gary is on the YouTube. He jumped back on YouTube. You have Bustos, Casey, Stefana.
Okay,
So, Amar,
Yes.
like to put it all in perspective, you really have just a few folks that are tarnishing my name and making this weird narrative about murder. You have Kylie Clapp, Glenn Ford, Amy Hodgson, aka Christine Alcazar, Robert Trump and his wife, Stephanie Claiborne Trump, alongside with Nene Coleman, Kim Coleman, Tanisha Coleman. These are the individuals
I have
making a narrative and saying, I'm a murderer.
I have the body cams, the discovery, and audios that show that they lied.
I don't know them. I don't know them. I don't know these individuals. I don't know them. But they happen to do a lot of research about me. Where Kylie is telling Glenn they're plotting to kill me. Like, what the hell is going on here?
Well, you know, it's interesting that we have them on a recorded line where they're saying that, and the prosecutor in the police department is nowhere to be found. They're looking the other way. Well, now that Department of Justice and the FBI are investigating, they have to look into it. Otherwise,
why is everything
they're going to jail.
into perspective on the court of records?
They're terrified.
The videos from them. The home videos are supposed to be included into the court of records as an exhibit. They don't even want to include that. It shows the interaction, the dash camera from beginning until end. Why is it cut right before the accident? Why is my wire split when there's no impact towards the wire, towards the cigarette lighter area?
Mustafa, I have evidence. I have evidence that they tampered with your dash camera, that they muted the audio and they cut the dash camera. Now the frames don't match up. You have 8.0 seconds on the inside, 8.3 on the outside. This dash camera is saved into the SD card in 1 minute increments. The last 8 seconds is tampered with, and it shows that they cut this dash camera. Now I have Officer Zimus for Prince William County for digital forensic on a discovery on a document that says this dash camera does have audio, and the audio is in the SD card. The prosecutor is terrified to put that on the record. For the prosecutor that says you were arguing, why is she terrified that this audio is going to come out?
Exactly. And where is any video footage of Dorothy and Empress?
Now, I have, exactly, none of the body cams in the discovery and evidence.com show the first body cam when the police officer showed up. Now, in the discovery, it shows that a police officer was on scene that's in my notes, at a specific time when the accident. The first officer that responded to the scene he said, my body cam was rolling. It's in the discovery, in the discovery. It says that his camera was on, and he basically recorded the whole entire thing. Now, where is that body cam? That body cam, mysteriously, is not in evidence.com. They don't want to put that because there is negligence on the police department and the paramedic side. I'll tell you, I'm not saying that they did it on purpose. They failed to helicopter Dorothy. They failed to helicopter Empress. Now, I have hospital documents that show that the hospital, the same physician that said that 5-year-old Empress is stable, is calling the organ transplant and is making the decision to harvest 5-year-old Empress organs, and he made that call. The same one that is saying that Dorothy's that treated 5-year-old Empress is saying that she's stable after treating her, is making the call to harvest a 5-year-old Empress organs. That's illegal. You can't have the same physician make that call. You can't make that call without contacting family. Now, they refuse to contact you. They refuse to talk to the ex-husband, Divine Jones, and they made that call. The hospital made that physician made that call. That's illegal. Now, what do you think is going to happen? They have to make this into a murder. They have to turn it out and make it not a vehicle accident, because a lot of people are in trouble. When you come out, you're going to sue the paramedics for not making the wrong call to helicopter Dorothy and Empress. The hospital for engaging in interrogating you, a nurse identifying herself as law enforcement, the paramedic induce you with 50 mcg of fentanyl, and interrogate you for 3 hours. Chad Mason, the nurse, identify herself as a nurse, as a law enforcement, and interrogate you while they had you on fentanyl. Now, they finally released you from the hospital. If you look at Chad Mason's warrant, that warrant is not signed by a judge. It's signed by Chad Mason himself. It's illegal. He falsified that warrant. And he extracted your blood. He had 2 vials of blood. Your blood is no alcohol, no drugs. Dorothy's blood, no alcohol, no drugs. They release you from the hospital. Now, what are they telling the kids a home, they're telling the kids that you ran away. You were helicopter. You were helicopter to the hospital. You were in the hospital. You were in and out of consciousness. You came out of a coma. I've got a medical document that says you were in a 30-minute coma. Now, what are they telling the kids?
Okay, look,
They're painting a monster to weaponize the kids against you.
So,
They told the kids that they told the kids that you ran away, left their 5-year-old baby sister in the car, and if you hadn't run away, she would have still been alive today. That's an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 13-year-old. What are you doing lying to the kids? You want to weaponize against them, to put them in a forensic interview and have them talk shit about Mustafa. That's interesting. I have those body cams.
During this interview with the kids, where's Kylie's interview? Kylie's interview comes about when? Later on, after Amy Hodgson, they plot together. Amy Hodgson was over here writing me love letters as Christine Alcazar.
I have the discovery. Where in the discovery, that Kylie Clapp was interviewed in a forensic interview with the other children. Now, in the discovery, it says that. Now, I find it interesting that her forensic interview was deleted from evidence.com and redone back in July when she came out to the pavilion. Now, that's interesting. We have Christine Alcazar, who pretends to be an advocate, that reached out to us, and we are telling her they're framing Mustafa. We gave her the Google Nest, we gave her the discovery, we gave her everything that we had. Now, that's interesting. We find out that Christine Alcazar is Amy Hodgkins, the same lady on the body cam that lied about Mustafa. The same lady that's feeding information to Kylie so she can get her story straight. Now, that's interesting. They delete Kylie's interview. I have the notes, so you can't run. Kylie cannot run away and pretend that this is not happening. I love how she came online. She said, I never was interviewed. Yes, you were. I have the discovery. I have the discovery where the police interviewed you in a forensic interview, and then they redid it in July. Now, I have that discovery. Don't know. You can't lie when I have everything that's on evidence.com. The police department, the prosecutor, are coaching Kylie to get her story straight through Christine Alcazar, aka Amy Hodgkins. And now the diddler has been identified, and we have all the information. And we have them on a recorded line saying that they wanted to kill Mustafa. What the fuck is going on here? And why are they mad at me? That's what they're saying.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But now, if I would have went to trial, I mean, I don't know. That's why I say God is great, because if I would have went to trial a year ago, now a year later, I'm sitting here, everything is out. Like, I wish we can go to trial and cross-examine any of these witnesses where they're just going to look really foolish. It's going to be a major embarrassment. Like, this is not going to fly.
Mustafa,
any fact checker.
they're so terrified. They're so terrified that the evidence is coming out that you have the whole entire county in a desperate attempt to come after me. Now, it's interesting that Elaine is saying what she's saying in these motions against me, and she's simply lying to the court. She's saying that on the day that she fired me, between the hours of the afternoon, 3 o'clock, and the hours in the evening, 7 o'clock, blah blah blah, that I went into her office and I took the stuff from her. That's interesting. Well, I have a video in a podcast where I'm telling her, Elaine, a police officer supplied me with this evidence on a flash drive. Well, let's watch that video. And she knew that I had the material from another source. Let's watch that video. How is Judge Funk? How would Judge Funk like to know that Elaine Jarvis is lying to him?
What's his name? Judge Funk?
Judge Funk.
This whole case
There is so much funk here, Mustafa. It's exactly. There's so much funk here.
It's fake, and it's fake. Okay? This whole thing is just fake. They need to fix it immediately.
Look, Mustafa, let's play that video. Exactly. They're gonna have to fix it. Listen, let's watch this video.
I'll tell you, man, it's been 18 months, and I have evidence where they falsified my brother's police report. muted and edited my brother's dash camera before impact. They muted that dash camera.
And just to interrupt, but just to be clear, since we are under a criminal protective order as well, Amar, you found all this out on your own, did you not?
Ma'am, I have, ma'am, it's been 18 months. And to tell me that this information...
Would you do me a favor? Would you answer my question up and yes or no?
Yes,
Did you
I have.
get this information yourself?
Of course I did. It's been 18 months. We have a lot of, we have a lot of police officers inside the police department that are not okay with what's happening to my brother.
Okay.
When I got back from overseas, I started a company for Quantico Marine Base, and I've hired Marines, there are military police Marines.
So you've gotten
And I have a lot of friends that are police officers.
Gotcha.
And to make this go on for 18 months, and to think that I'm not going to obtain this information from inside the police department by a police officer is ridiculous. There's a lot of police officers that serve and protect our community every day.
Are we watching all this together? Are we fucking watching the same thing?
And what's happening to my brother, they're not okay with it. They see what's happening to my brother.
Interesting.
They know that
Elaine Jarvis thought that she can write a motion against me. Let me tell you.
They know that
Elaine Jarvis is a liar, and Judge Funk is going to find out on February 26th. Elaine Jarvis, this was a desperate attempt by Prince William County, that she thought that I don't have the money to hire a lawyer, I don't know how to write my own motions, and that she's the lawyer, that she's going to write a motion against me, and is just going to say whatever she wants in court, and her side is the only one that's going to be heard. Because, keep in mind, I don't have money, and I can't hire a lawyer. Now, does she forget that she trained me as a paralegal in her office for 3 months, where I'm sitting on cases and writing motions? Man, this lady.
She's really desperate right
Well,
now because she's being sanctioned. She's being sanctioned, and she's trying to use you as a scapegoat.
she's
That's
attempt
what's going on here.
exactly as a scapegoat. As a scapegoat, she's attempting to use me as she's attempting to use her paralegal as a scapegoat to what she came out and said. We all saw Elaine release the jail videos. We all saw a lawyer who's there for the First Amendment and is advocating for Mustafa and release the video. What if I show you an audio that she's telling me that I'm gonna pretend we have to separate ourselves in the public so I can continue to fight for your brother? I'm going to pretend that I fired you, but I'm going to continue to pay you under the table. And you go, as a matter of fact, she said those videos, the jail videos are public because the jail filed exhibits and they filed them and they forgot to seal them. They're already public. And she's sitting there showing me how to access them. And she said, they're already public. Go ahead and podcast in front of the governor's office. And I'm going to continue to pay you under the table. Now, that's interesting. She says I signed a NDA. Now, her telling me that you're gonna go out there, talk about the videos. I'm gonna pay you under the table. Here we are having a different NDA. She absolved the NDA that I had signed with her. Whatever NDA that I signed with her, this absolved the NDA when she's telling me to go out there in front of the governor's office and talk about the videos, that the videos are public. That's a new agreement. That's a new NDA. She absolved whatever NDA that we have. Now, that's interesting. I have a video, if we're talking about the criminal case, I have a video that she's aware that I had these videos and discovery from another source. What is she doing lying to Judge Funk? She's lying to Judge Funk because she thought that I can't get a lawyer and I don't know how to write motions. Unfortunately for Elaine, the desperate attempt by Prince William County to use a lawyer out of Warren County to come after me is not going to work because I know how to write motions. I already wrote my motion, and Judge Funk gave me a whole entire day to listen to my exhibits. I've got so many videos like this one. I've got so many documents that show that Elaine Jarvis is being unethical as a lawyer and should not be allowed to practice law because she can do this to someone else. She can do this to another family. And on my watch, I'm going to promise this community that she's not going to be able to do this to another family, another individual. And on that note, we're going to end our beautiful podcast, Not Another Boring Podcast. And we're gonna shoot for doing another podcast tonight, but there are a lot of things that are happening in the background. We're gonna shoot for another one. If we do go on a podcast, it's probably gonna be 8 or 9. But if not, then we will see everybody tomorrow. Everybody, this is Not Another Boring Podcast. Casey, Stefano, I love that you guys are here. We're going to continue to do this kind of setup where I'm going to FaceTime our friends, and then we go live on YouTube, and we're going to continue to have this kind of setup. YouTube is a beautiful platform for this kind of setup. And we have so much to talk about. I've got body cams that I want to show in this kind of setup where we have this cell phone, we have this cell phone where we can show the body cam, the documents. And Mustafa, you want to say hello to everybody before we end this podcast?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I just want to say I love you guys and God bless you. Gary, Stefana, Casey, Bustos, and who else?
Becky,
Gary,
Amy Hodgkins,
Amy Hodgson,
Glenn Ford, Kylie Clapp.
I love you guys. And when I come out, I hope you guys go to jail. I'll put money on your books. And we're going to make sure that you don't get abused by correctional officers here. Justice for Dorothy, justice for Empress, justice for all. And the truth is coming out. So if you don't know, now you know.
If you don't know, now you know. Justice for Dorothy, justice for Empress, justice for my brother Mustafa, and unfortunately for this prosecutor, Sarah Sammy. I've got all the evidence that you've been hiding for 2 years. I've got a giant platform, and according to you, ma'am, I have 500,000 supporters that are following this case. That's according to you, and that's public record. You can read it in her own motion. On that note, this is Not Another Boring Podcast. I love everybody. Casey, Stefana, everybody, Becky, Bustos, everybody, Gary, everybody that's here. I love you guys, and keep us in your prayers. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.